going on, everybody? It's Noah Rattler on the dawn, I guess, of the third Houston Sleepout. This year's Sleepout Saturday, and it's a different sleepout than it's ever been before. All this evolved out of my walk from Houston, Texas to Los Angeles, California in 2007, and we're keeping the ball rolling. Ultimately, the goal is to raise awareness around homelessness and to build capacity for organizations and our greater community to deal with homelessness, mental illness, and everything that falls within the realm of that complex bundle of a phenomenon. Take a ride with me tonight. We have several different stops we're going to make. At least six different sleepouts happen all across the city. The first is at TSU, but right now we're getting ready and the clock is just ticking down. 40 minutes to game time. Let's go. Right now, the goal, like what I hope to accomplish from this year's experience of Sleepout Saturday and Houston Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, is to make it a really big thing and use us, the new media, because we are the media today, not just CNN and Fox and NBC, Viacom. It's not about them, it's about us. So we're using the social media tools to the best of their ability, to the best of our ability, and hopefully we get the word out. So it's right around 7:30. So I'm announcing to everybody I'll be at TSU, first stop, 30 minutes. We get it in a minute. Food Sweet's my favorite, making it happen. Hopefully. Have a good crowd up there at TSU. Even if it's 12 people, it'll be good enough, because those who show up to make it happen. And together, we can make it all happen. We can make this world a better place. So as far as tonight goes, being the first Sleepout Saturday in the city of Houston, there are 6 different locations, 6 or 7, depending on who shows up and who doesn't. The first stop is TSU. After that, we'll be at the Caroline Collective. That's done by Noah's Kitchen, no relation. After the Caroline Collective, we'll be heading over to Mos 45 to present Systematic with an award, a service award. And from there, we'll be going over to Andreas Hope's Sleepout. And that is at 11 o'clock. And somewhere around the same area, because they're in the same part of town, New Faith Church is hosting one as well, so we're gonna hit them at the same time. And after that, we're going to Pearland, and that's about it. And so, let me answer this, but it's about to happen.
Okay, everybody pay attention.
Excuse me, everyone. Can we get your attention, please? We have here Mr. Noah Rattler, and he's going to speak on the importance of this event. And I want everyone to give him a very warm welcome, please. Mr. Noah Rattler.
TSU. I graduated from Prairie View. Congratulations. 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 I'm actually happy to hear that you guys I'm excited about that. When is it?
December 11th.
I might even roll down there. I'm not sure. At 77, my name's Noah Rattler. In 2007, I walked from Houston, Texas to Los Angeles, California to raise awareness for homelessness. The journey was 1,800 miles and it lasted 4.5 months. The reason I did this was ultimately to make a statement about how I myself, and not just myself because I'm a representative of my community, how we ultimately feel about homelessness. Now the issue with that is, a lot of the times, there's a lot we don't know about the realities of homelessness. I started volunteering at Search Homeless Services in 2005, and I was doing it to just kind of get an idea of what's really going on, because I figured out that I realized that I didn't know much about it. Like, I didn't know that a lot of the people who are homeless are mentally ill. I didn't really understand that. I didn't understand that 49% of the homeless population is African American. While I was volunteering, and we're only 13% officially of the population. While I was volunteering, I found at that time the average age of a homeless person in the state of Texas was 9. So you see the panhandler on the corner who comes up to your car, guy want to wash your window, and that's what forms our image in our head of what homeless people are. But the realities are much different. Right now, the fastest growing group of homeless people are women coming back home from the war. That's that group and that demographic is growing the fastest. It's contemporarily been, over the last 10, 12 years or so, women and children out there on the streets. And so once I started to find all this stuff out, I figured that it was really important that I do something about it. And so, a long story short and shrunk down, I decided to combine walking across the country with an awareness campaign to raise awareness for homelessness. And on March 24th, I left from right in the Midtown area at Search Homeless Services on Fannin and McGowan. And I went north up to Dallas, and I headed up 287 to Amarillo from Dallas, and turned left on Interstate 40. Took that all the way through New Mexico, Arizona, to the border of California. In California, I took Route 66 down through the Mojave Desert, and on August the 4th, at around 12:45 p.m., I stepped into the Pacific Ocean, and that ended the journey. Now, along the trip, I learned a lot of things. One of those things was the event that I saw is in Wichita Falls, Texas. Anyone know where Wichita Falls is? It's about a 2-hour drive up towards Amarillo from Fort Worth. As I stopped at city to city, what I would do to raise awareness was meet at a shelter and try and get a newspaper or a television crew to come out and interview me. And by my doing this walk, it was a good way to get attention. And so the cameras or the newspapers will come out, they interview me, and they also have to, by circumstance, interview the shelter. And so that was the tool that would keep giving. So I would leave the city, and the article would keep working. People would read about it. People would read about it over their coffee at lunch and talk about it as the day went on. So I was doing this in Wichita Falls, and these people were putting these boxes outside around the shelter that I was stopping at. And I asked them what were they doing. They said they were going to rent the real estate for a night and use the money to go to the services that the shelter provided. So you know what? That's a really good idea. I may want to use that one day. Fast forward, walked into the border of California was right here. I stepped into California, and it was so hot on the ground. I was in the Mojave Desert that my right foot from the center out burned all the way down through the middle. I didn't have the sense of touching my outer 2 toes for like 6 months. My left foot, my arch fell, and it was like stabbing pain right in the ball of the foot when I picked my heel up on every step. And on top of that, I had plantar fasciitis in my right heel. So I had a burn and agitated tendons in the right foot, and I don't know what the technical term for falling arches in the left foot, but I had that too. And I was behind schedule, so I had to walk faster and faster and faster. And that we had less money, so I had to eat less and less and less. So I was doing 23, 24 miles a day through the Mojave Desert to make it to the destination in time, so my support vehicle driver could get back to Houston and start school at U of H. During this period of time, I realized that, you know what, this is really cool what I'm doing. But once I finish walking, it'll be over with. And I turned around, and there was no crowd of people like Forrest Gump following me. And realistically, I would have had to do it maybe 3-4 times for people to start following, because they didn't jump in behind Forrest until like lap 3 around the country. And so I figured that I needed to do something else to keep the ball going and make sure that what I did would last. And so when I got home, everybody was really excited about it. I won a couple of awards, and this, that, and the other. And in one award ceremony, I was sitting across the table from a guy named Chris Brown. And Chris is the chief of staff of City Comptroller Ronald Green. He's also Peter Brown's son. Chris was like, Noah, what you did was amazing. We really need to do something together. You have any ideas? And I thought back, looked back in the Rolodex, and I remembered that they had the boxes outside. So you know what? I've been thinking about this. We could do something called the Houston Sleep Out. Get people to sleep outside in November for the homeless. It's just crazy enough to do it because it's cold outside, so it makes it controversial. It's really out of the normal for most people's activity, and that will really appeal to a certain group of people. He said, you know what, that's a great idea. Let me talk to Ronald. He talked to Ronald. We got together that year in 2008 and made it happen. We did it again in 2009. Both times when at Sesquicentennial Park, we raised close to like $109,000 for such homeless services with the first 2 sleep outs. That was cool, but it wasn't exactly the direction I was trying to go in, because it's really about awareness. Awareness is like a tagline all the time. Like you hear people say change, or you hear people say awareness for this, awareness for that, but awareness is really important. Awareness means knowledge and understanding. So I believe that the more knowledge and understanding we have around homelessness, the more the preconceptions and the stereotypes will start to disappear. And so if we can get something regular going that would constantly ring the bell, once, twice a year, just ring the bell and bring attention to homelessness, then it'll be a really great idea. And so looked around, I had a couple ideas. Maybe we do the Sleep Out, get a week of events going. Eventually I bumped into National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week and talked to some people in the city, and actually I talked to people across the country about it, and it's not really well used, and I figured, you know what, we can do this here in Houston. And so this is the first year that the city of Houston has ever celebrated Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. And it's all grown out of that first step I took on March 24th in 2007. Houston Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week is a week full of events that happen all day. There are nighttime events that are aimed at just you can have a good time and learn about homelessness and contribute to the organizations that serve the homeless. You can go to site visits, volunteer opportunities. All of that takes place during this week, which starts tomorrow morning. So you all are actually helping to kick off Houston Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week in the right way. Ultimately, what I would like to see from this is a national Sleep Out Saturday. And I think we as a city are the best city to get it started, because ultimately when there's a gap in when leadership is needed, usually someone steps up and fills the role. The question is, are you going to do it in the right way or do it the wrong way? Right now there has not been a real big push to get something like this going, and I think it's the time. I think that the generations that are here now are the right ones to actually make this happen. And if we can get it up and going, get it rolling, so by the time y'all, some of you will be sponsors of organizations here at Texas Southern University and other universities around the country, be professors, have kids, grandkids and stuff like that. If we can really get this ball rolling, it's a really big ball, but if we can get it going, it'll be hard to stop. And the further the ball rolls, the more people will learn about homelessness. The more we learn about homelessness, the more empathy we'll build as a side effect for one another. And as we get to that step, my little secret desire, internal desire to save the world will like really start to happen. And it's like, this is not necessarily me saving the world, this is us saving the world, because the situations that we're in are situations that people created. And we are the people. Since we caused the problem, we are the solution as well. And so this is what I'm trying to get everyone to do for tonight and next year and the year after that, but especially here tonight, because you all are the ones who are here tonight to actually make this thing happen. You all are the ones who are kicking this thing off. This is the first group I met with tonight, and so this is like the official start of the very first Houston Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. This is the official start of the very first Sleep Out Saturday. And y'all going to the championship. successful is you all being here. But what makes it grand, what makes it big, is what you do with it from this moment on. Several hours until the sun comes up. Cell phones, anybody got cell phones? Add me on Twitter. My name is Noah Rattler. Noah like the ark, Rattler like the snake. It should be easy to remember. Noah Rattler. Add me on Twitter tonight. Add me tonight. Tweet, if you're awake, tweet about your experience. Post it on Facebook. Take little videos of yourselves. Interview each other. Make this a really well-rounded experience, because what I would like to see is all the video, a lot of the videos that you all take go up on the website as Team TSU that Stephanie started the site. I want you all to have a really big, heavy presence on the website. Also, anybody here, has anyone done an eye report? Anyone watch CNN? Anybody watch CNN? I would like for you, at least you two, to get up and, like, when you do it, when you start putting this stuff up on the internet, at 2 o'clock tomorrow, post the stuff on CNN's website. Because I think if we can get everybody across the city, I'm gonna tell everybody this. Post at 2 o'clock, everybody at the same time, post stuff up on CNN's website. If we get enough people to put it up there, they'll have to talk about it. And once it hits CNN's website, the whole world sees it. And once they talk about it, the whole world sees it. And just like that, we will have changed the world by just a few things that we've done. A night of cold, some sore thumbs and misspelled words because your thumbs will be cold, but you're still tweeting on them little cell phones, and uploading this stuff and reporting on it. That is how we make this thing really successful. The next thing is going forward. I'm often asked, Noah, how are you going to end homelessness? They've been here forever. They're always going to be here. That's not necessarily the case. Homelessness is not a law of nature. It's just an option that we choose not to cancel out. So if we as people decide that we don't care for homelessness anymore, we don't want to allow it to be a part of our society, and we take the steps that are necessary, it'll slowly start to disappear. How do I do this as a student? Mentoring kids has a lot to do with the direction the student takes. Going and visiting schools, elementary schools, just in the area. Y'all go to a couple of elementary and middle schools, anybody on the STEP team, any organizations, go and talk to the kids. That stuff really has an impact. I'm gonna tell you why. I was in the 3rd grade. I woke up in it one day and I was looking at the news, and they showed that this guy was like standing in front of the ocean on this banister. And all I remember, they said he walked from some coast to another coast. That stayed in my head, and you see what I did with it. So you never can tell what your actions, how your actions will impact someone's life. And little kids, when they're in elementary school, they're really impressionable, and they soak up a lot of information, and what you give them, they'll soak up. So stuff like that will definitely help. You can go and volunteer at organizations like Search, do food drives, not just during Christmas, but do it in spring, right before Spring Fest. Because we all love to give during the holidays, but people are still homeless in the summertime. People are still homeless in the spring, in the fall. So it's an all year round thing. As a matter of fact, if you all wanted to, I can come back and like, my walk is it's like a 2-week discussion. I mean, 2-3 hour discussion. So I can't really talk to you about it tonight, but I can come back to the school and talk to you all about it. And I can also help you come up with a cumulative plan to just do stuff in the community with different organizations where each organization would do. Just a couple examples. Anybody in the boxing club? The boxing club. Say y'all do in January, you do a food drive. In February, you do a clothing drive. In March, you go mentor, go talk to some kids, to go to 3-4 schools. And in April, you do a car wash. And all this stuff kind of goes to different organizations. At the same time, someone else does the same rotation, but they start in a different spot. That way you have a continuous loop of services going and help going to these organizations. You have a continuous supply of volunteer hours and a continuously educational experience here that's outside of what you learn in the university. And just a couple of, just off the top of my head type of thing. But we can come, I can help you all come up with a comprehensive plan to really get in this. And all of it won't be with homeless people every day, but ultimately, in the end, it'll be making our community stronger as a whole. I think that's pretty much all I got to say. I appreciate you all coming out. What time is it? 8:30. I can answer a couple questions in like 10 minutes, and I got to move on to the next spot. Anybody have any questions?
How long? Wait, never mind. You asked
4.5 months.
Yeah.
20 miles a day.
Why did you arrest him?
I had support vehicles, so like I sleep in a support vehicle. My first support vehicle driver name is Sunshine. He has a health food restaurant over on OST, right by the Red Rooster, OST and MLK. And he was with me from Houston to Dallas. The second support vehicle driver name was Jaree Fuller, and she was a volunteer at Search, and she was with me from Dallas all the way to Los Angeles. And basically what would happen is I walk like 6-7 miles, and then they come meet me. I take a break, then they take off. I'd refill my backpack with like apples, oranges, tomatoes, and water or whatever, and then I walk off. And we just piece by piece by piece, day by day by day, all the way across the country. Slept at the end of the day, we pull over at a truck stop, or Walmart in the parking lot, a gas station, the shoulder, rest area or something like that, and let it go. And wake up in the next morning, about 10 o'clock, get on the road, 20 miles later I stop. And that was pretty much how I went from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. No more questions? Yes, sir.
You know anything about the mental institution here in the state of Texas, what they do with the homeless, with the mental patients in the state of Texas?
The best mental health facilities, I believe, in the state of Texas are in the prisons. Most mentally ill in the state wind up, that's how they're treated in the penitentiary. Mental health, MHMRA has programs. I think that's probably the largest organization that deals with people who are not locked up. They help get people who are coming out of prison and other people who get sent and referred to them. And different organizations help with mental illness, like Search, Bread of Life, all of them, they're big grants that fund organizations that serve people with specific mental illnesses, do a diagnosis. So like somebody may have schizophrenia and is addicted to something, then there's a grant for that. And so different organizations do help with it, but a big bulk of the mental illness treatment is done in prison.
Well, the reason I asked for that question is because I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this, and this probably was about 20 years ago, but what was happening here right here in the city of Houston is that you have, like you were saying, you're talking about a lot of the homeless people have mental problems, mental issues. Right. That's where a lot of them end up. And if they go to Austin, they do have treatment in Austin at the mental hospital in Austin. Once a week, they will bring them back here to Houston. What they would do is they would let them off up here at the bus stop at the Greyhound. Now, I don't know if they still do that or not, and that's because of the fact they didn't have anywhere else to put them. Right, so after that treatment was over with, they'd keep them 3 or 4 days or whatever. Every week, they would bring them back and drop them off. If they didn't have people here, like their relatives or whatever, to come and meet them and pick them up, then they would just disseminate out into the street. And they disseminate until they get back into the system, either being arrested for vagrancy or whatever, and then the cycle starts all over again. So I was wondering if they had tried to address that situation, if that's still ongoing.
Houston is that city in Texas. Like Albuquerque is that city in New Mexico. It's like where they send the people that they don't want. I guess it's because it's the biggest city. It has the most services and stuff like that. And one of the big issues, any psych majors out here? It's mental illness is that's the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
What psych?
Mental illness is because it's so hard to get a handle on. Like now we're coming up with drugs every day that treat this and treat that, but they create this and create that. But that's just kind of subsiding the side effects. It's a lot that has to go, and that's really the big issue around homelessness and incarceration. A lot of people, they either wind up on the streets. Yes, ma'am.
Did you come across like on your journey, did you come across and talk to a lot of homeless people? Because you did walk, so I'm sure you saw a lot of people on your trip. So like, how did that impact you?
What impacted me the most was people started looking at me like I was homeless. It happened in Dallas. I walked in this restaurant, Doree was in there, and I sat down, and like I noticed everybody was looking at me strange when I walked in. And then I realized they looking at me like I would look at a panhandler, depending on the day how I was feeling, before I knew anything about homelessness. Like with this look in their eyes. And I was upset, but I got over it. Then I walked out and I was heading towards Fort Worth. This woman came out of the house and she was trying to get in the car. And she was like really rushing, trying to get in the car. And I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, am I going the right way? I'm looking for Fort Worth." And she turned around and said, "I'm sorry, I don't have any money." And like, I bust out laughing, but then it like hurt. It really hurt because I started to be looked at like I was homeless. And then later on, I really started to meet different people who were going through different situations of homelessness. And it was like an educational experience because like volunteering here in the city, you only see a certain group of, a couple of different populations of the homeless population. But a lot of people never come in and get services. They just stay out there on the road, hitchhike in between from city to city. They're pretty nomadic for the most part. And like, that was an education in itself. I met a couple of elderly people who were dealing with illness and staying at a shelter that was treating them bad. It was just I even met a guy who had walked from Albuquerque to Tennessee and he was hitchhiking on his way back. And so it was, my real moment with homelessness was here before I even left on the wall. It was a night like this, but it was like really damp outside. And this guy was asleep on the ground under a sheet, not a blanket, a sheet. He had on a raggedy t-shirt, some sweatpants, and he was barefooted. And we pulled up and we were giving sandwiches and stuff out. He got up, he woke up, kind of rolled over, stood up, wiped his eye, came over to us, got a sandwich, and just went back and laid down and wrapped up under that sheet, like a fitted sheet, in this weather. And that just like really made it real. He was used to it. So he had been out here long enough to where he was acclimated to living in this situation. Now, there's several different ways you can look at that, but like that made me understand, like, wow, this is really, really real. And it's real in a way that I didn't expect to see the issue. And so, and another woman, 4 generations. She's been homeless since 52. Her daughter was homeless because she was raised on the street. Her daughter was homeless because she was raised on the street. And the last girl had just had a baby. So it was 4 generations of homeless. And it was like an institutionalized homelessness because they never came off the streets. And that like hit me pretty hard. That was really deep. And they took the baby from the youngest one because she was on the street. And so now she's in the system. And it's hard for somebody who grows up in the system to come out. So yeah, that was like the heavy part. That was like the heavy part for me. Yes, sir. Walking through the desert. It was the most pain. So like, by that time, going 23, 24 miles a day, it was the most peaceful time of my life, I think. It was like a very sublime peace that I felt out there. And it was like a combination. It was something that had grew over the entire time. And once I was there, when I knew it was my favorite time because when I left, it was like really hard to adjust back to being in the city. I was claustrophobic. It was hard to be around people. There's too much stuff going on. And it was almost like I had been kind of cleansed of all the busyness and the schedules and the day-to-day rush. And it was just me at my purest. And when I came back into the city, it was just a lot going on, and that really affected me for a long time. It took me a while to get over that. It took me a long time to get over that. So the desert was my favorite part. And then stopping, that was like kind of cool too. I was good with stopping. What time is it? 8:36, 8:40. Really appreciate y'all spending a little time letting me ramble in front of you. Something that's going to be really spectacular. It's already really special, and I honestly, when I say this, I honestly mean it. I ain't trying to be cliche nothing, but I love y'all for doing this and for being who you are and having the heart to get out here and do this and go through this. And I hope that we can go forward and keep building on it. I hope we can keep building on it. Thank you. And stay warm, because it's cold out here. So, leaving TSU, they showed up big, and it's a good start. It's a really good start to the beginning of something that we may look back on and be proud of one of these days. On to the next spot, which is the Caroline Collective and the Sleepout by Noah's Kitchen. Let's go.
Had the honor of being on the campus, and just not to keep doing this beautiful advertising of that wonderful school, but he happens to be a product of Prairie View A&M University as well. You know, we're not trying to keep pumping it up, but I remember getting the email. This was 2007, so MySpace was still relatively popular. But he sends a message out to us on the list saying that he was about to walk from Houston to LA to raise homeless awareness. And my first response was, who gave you that idea? Is there a better way? Flight tickets too high? I mean, you know. So, you know, and all of it for me with the movie Forrest Gump, so we figured he gonna grow big, just keep trucking it, get a shoe deal. But it wasn't like that, but we followed him. And this brother had some amazing experiences on the tour. And out of that is the reason why we're here tonight, because he didn't want it to stop there. But he wanted to do something where we all could get involved in this cause. So he came up with this idea along with others for the Sleepout. Yes, sir. And the first two, they've been able to raise $100,000 plus for search homeless services, raising this money. I think you should get $100,000. I ain't say $100, I said $100,000. And this brother has taken on a passion, and I admire the fact when a man gets latched on to a purpose and he's not afraid nor intimidated nor to talk about this issue, and he's constantly on it. So I don't want to delay any further because this is second stop of the night and he have a whole other to do. So I want you to please receive our beloved brother Noah Rattler to the microphone.
Appreciate it, Brother Jesse. How's everybody doing?
Fine, sir.
Is it cold enough for you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, we want a little bit colder.
I was actually hoping it'd rain, but it really drive the point in everybody who participated. Thank you all for having me, and I really am thankful that you all participated.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This has been almost 4 years in the making.
Yes, sir.
I left Houston on March 24, 2007, right around 12:30 in the afternoon. I headed north to Dallas. From Dallas, I went up to Amarillo. From Amarillo, I went through Albuquerque. Keep moving, and change doesn't happen overnight.
That's right, that's right.
It doesn't happen easily, but it does happen.
Yes, sir.
As long as we keep moving.
Yes, sir.
So once again, I appreciate y'all, love y'all, and I am going to burn. But the Sister Maddie.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo!
Let's give it up for Noah Rattler one more time. We're gonna get Sister Maddie to come over here. With the protocol, Brother Robert, I want y'all to take a picture. Oh, he presents Sister Maddie with a t-shirt now. Come on now, y'all.
The night's going pretty well. So far, so good. Through Texas Southern University and Miles 45. We're now at the Caroline Collective with Miss Amber Rodriguez and Noah's Kitchen. Amber, how's it going?
It's going beautifully.
Yeah.
We had a nice walk down San Jacinto. Nice candlelight walk. Handed out maybe 30 blankets and talked to quite a few people. It was great.
It's cool. It's cool. Cool. Everybody who actually arranges the sleep out. There's a limited edition Will You Sleep With Me t-shirt for Houston Sleepout Saturday 2010. I'd like to present you with it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for doing
I
it.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for inspiring me.
We inspire each other. That's how it works. That's how it works. See, I'm a little bit.
This is the first time. Of course, y'all know that we've done this. I've had a lot of amazing people help. Noah Rattler was the man behind all of this. He's the founder of Houston Sleepout Saturday. I'd like to introduce him to you guys, and maybe he can say a few words to y'all. So, Noah.
How's everybody doing?
Right.
It's good. It's good. It's really. I'm really glad to be able to be here tonight and see everyone out participating in this thing that we're trying to do. In 2007, I walked to Los Angeles from Houston to raise awareness for homelessness. It was 1,800 miles for about 4.5 months, and it was a pretty arduous journey. I went up to Dallas, then Amarillo. So that's what I would like for y'all to do, like starting out. Long term, just be back here next year. Keep participating with Noah's Kitchen and supporting Amber and the organization and the goals of it. And we will keep building this thing and making it happen. And eventually, I'm of firm conviction that homelessness is not a mandatory part of our society. It is not something that has to exist. It's not a law of nature. It's just a side effect of the choices we've made as a collective, as a group. We change our choices. We change the effects. We change the cause. We change the effects. And homelessness we can get rid of it. It's a situation we can't handle. We just have to choose. I appreciate y'all for choosing tonight to be here, and look forward to meeting and talking with everyone on Twitter and Facebook, because I got to run away from here. And we'll be back a little bit later after I go to the other groups. But thank you all again, and keep at it, keep at it. Thank you.
On your behalf in the spirit realm. Oftentimes we don't see it or we don't recognize it because it ain't manifest itself. But I want to let you know, your breakthrough is in your praise. That's what I've come to tell you tonight. Your breakthrough is in your praise. So all you've got to do is begin to lift your voice. Lift your hands. Just let out a shout. And when you do, God is going to send your breakthrough. So you've been praying, you've been fasting, but God is saying, stop praying, stop fasting, and lift up a shout. Because in your shout is your breakthrough. Your breakthrough or your blessing is in your breakthrough. It's in your praise. It's in your praise. And what's the one thing that's hard for black folk to do on a Sunday morning? It's lift up a praise, because you worried about what folks are going to say sitting next to you. But I double doubt that somebody, when the church doors open, to lift up a shout. As a matter of fact, you ain't even got to wait that long. I double dog dare anybody right. If you need a breakthrough right now in your life, just begin to lift up a shout, and I guarantee before the lights come on. I ain't talking about the street lights. I'm talking about the sun. Before the sun comes up to tomorrow morning, your breakthrough is going to be on your doorstep. If you just begin to lift up a shout right now. I double dog dare you. Just start lifting up a shout. Just start praising your way through your trial. Just start praising your way through your difficulty. Just lift up a shout. That's all you got to do. Is lift up a shout. Just lift him up. He said, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. God bless you. Put your hands together for Jesus. Put your hands together for Jesus. I want to introduce y'all to somebody. Who's a great, great friend of mine. I met this brother at a get-together. A get-together maybe about 4 to 5 years ago. So when I met the brother, he blew my mind with a statement. He said, man, I'm getting ready to walk from Houston to LA. And in my mind, I'm saying, why would you want to walk? They got good transportation. You got good transportation. But even if you don't want to drive, you could ride a bus, train, or buy an airplane ticket. There's no need in the 2000 or the 21st century to have to walk from Houston to LA. But he had a greater vision. He had a greater passion to see the face of homelessness change around the continent. He had a passion. The brother got 4 brains in his head. Graduated from Rice University. Prairie View. Oh, like first of the class, top of the class. No.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
Not cool, Lord.
The brother is awesome.
Thank you, Lord.
The brother is awesome. Brother is awesome. He being modest, y'all. He just being modest. The brother is a bad brother. But so I don't want to prolong the time. I know he got a lot of sites to get to. So I just want to bring him up. His name is Noah Rattler to share about his vision, his passion for homelessness. So give him a hand, y'all.
Right quick. How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
I ain't like it's cold outside. The ducks back there. This is the sign I wore from just about at Amarillo the rest of the trip. I would like to present to you for arranging this Sleepout t-shirt.
All right.
It's a limited edition t-shirt. Only people who organize sleepouts will have this shirt. And I appreciate you doing this.
Bless you, man. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. Appreciate you doing it, bro.
Oh, man. Anytime, man. Anytime. Thank you so much, man.
All right. Noah Rattler. Noah like the art. Rattler like the snake. Purpose said in 2007, I did walk from Houston, Texas to Los Angeles, California to raise awareness for homelessness here in the United States. The journey itself was 1,800 miles and it lasted just about 4.5 months. In that 4.5 months, 3 of those months were straight walking, 20 miles a day for 90 days. The trip took me from Houston up to Dallas, and from Dallas to Amarillo. From Amarillo, straight west through Albuquerque and Flagstaff and New Mexico and Arizona, down through the Mojave Desert into Los Angeles, California. And on August the 4th, when I started March 24th, August the 4th, I completed the journey by stepping into the Pacific Ocean. It was physically tormented. It tormented me just a little bit. It took maybe 6 months to recover from everything. When I walked into California to the Mojave Desert, my right foot from the center out was burned, blistered, and I lost the sense of touch in my outer 2 toes. My left arch fell, and so every time I picked my heel up, there was a stabbing pain in my left foot. On top of that, on my right foot, off of that plantar fasciitis. So it was like a really, to have to walk another 300 miles across the state of California wasn't the best foot conditions to be in. But I had to do it. My responsibility is more, maybe.
Yeah, to make it
This is the coldest out. And I'm further, usually the further north you go, the colder it is. And then I guess, what, trees, I don't know, it's cold. That's what I'm talking about. But I really appreciate y'all. Yeah, it sells it. Like, people were worried because it was raining. And I'm like, well, if it's raining hard, then nobody gonna participate. But a good cold and wet night. Wow, ain't no way to not think of homelessness differently after you participate. And so this is a really deep experience. Other people can feel it. Like walking across the country was a really deep experience. I highly suggest everybody try it. But I understand the impracticality around it. I know it takes a little while. It takes a big chunk of time. Yeah, but this is a big thing to do, especially if it's outside of your comfort zone. If you're just a naturalist, G.I. Joe type, I live in the woods on the weekend type of person, it's nothing to you. But if this is new, this is a really deep experience, and it's a beautiful experience. It opens us up, it opens our perspective and our understanding of what's going on around us. So I really hope that you all get a lot from this and share it with other people. And that's what the tweet put it up on Facebook, put pictures up and everything. We are that example, I believe. Appreciate y'all time. Thank you for listening to me ramble. And what time is it? 15 minutes. Oh, 12. I got time for a couple questions about the walk. Anybody have any questions? She raised her hand, man. I slept in the van. Like, I had 2 support vehicles. One from Houston to Dallas and one from Dallas to Los Angeles. And pretty much slept in the support van.
Right now we're at the 5th stop, Andreas Hope, 5212 Brixton. We'll jump into the program. They have a late program. We can get it going now. It's getting kind of cold out here. Cold enough to really drive the point in.
How are you? You look tired.
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
This is stop number 5.
Woo, that means we're doing good tonight, huh?
Doing good.
Okay, babe. Everybody, this is Noah Rattler.
That's my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this. My name's Noah Rattler. Noah like the ark, Rattler like the snake. 2007, I walked to Los Angeles from Houston to raise awareness for homelessness. The journey was 1,800 miles, and it lasted just about 4.5 months. There's a roundabout way that I got to homelessness. Ultimately, my goal when I left high school, went to Prairie View, was to save the world. I'm gonna save the world, and I didn't care how big it was, people I didn't know. I didn't care how complicated the problems were. I had no idea how complicated the problems were. I had that end goal in sight. So, went to school, studied engineering and physics, graduated, both of them. Came out. Right at that time, during the time when I finished those degrees, I was much smarter than I was when I went in. And lived a little bit, learned a little bit about responsibility for self, paid rent, bills, and all this stuff. And so I had a different perspective on things. I had finished school, and I came to this point in time where throughout school, I was always volunteering on some organization or something like that. When I was
all that was work and home. Go to work, come home, go to sleep. And there was this great need. It's like I have this hunger for helping, and I couldn't satisfy that. So I was trying to figure out a good way to do that. At the same time, I'm smarter now. I know how to do research and stuff, so I'm trying to figure out what one thing, if I fixed it, would have the greatest, would do the most work towards saving the world. And eventually, I kind of settled on mental illness. Mental illness was that one thing. I recognized that through talks with my father and just kind of observations and listening and reading about stuff through history. It's like a case in point. There are people who've done PhDs, and there are libraries full of dissertations and years of research on why Rome failed. You ask a geologist, he'll say because they mismanaged their water. That's the single reason. You ask a toxicologist, they'll say because all their cups were had lead in them. And you ask why were the emperors so crazy? Why did Nero burn his house down? It was because he was insane from lead poisoning. Lead poisoning has had an effect on society since we started doing stuff with iron, with metals. Until just recently. It's still having huge effects in our communities, all over the country, all over the world. The effects of lead poisoning or mental instability. It's a tendency towards violence that you have, and your brain doesn't work as it would if it did not have that ailment in it. And so I learned and come across a couple of facts like that. Mental illness sounds like a really good big thing. If we could really jump on mental illness, that may actually cure. That may actually be it. That may be the thing. And so I figured, how would this happen? Like, what does mental illness look like in our society? Picked up a couple of books at the bookstore, and one was like, I think the name of the book was The History of Mental Illness in Western Civilization. And it went back from like the 900s in Western Europe, when it started to come up, and the torch was passed from Rome and the Holy Roman Empire to Western Europe, and the royals start to show up in France and England and stuff like that. What happened with mentally ill people? They either were historically locked up in prison or wound up homeless. Same thing today. And so, in a way, I wanted to find out more about it. I wanted to get out there and see what it really looked like in the real world. And the opportunity came up to where it's easier for me to go and volunteer with search homeless services than it was to go to prisons and anything like that. So I wound up volunteering with search. What I started to understand was the reality behind the humanity of people who live on the street. And I started to see the mental separations that I had built up and preconceptions that I had built up over time. It disappeared. And it was like, wow. I mean, like, that lady over there on the bench talking to herself, that's me. That's really me. Had I gone through what she went through, I might be over there. Had she gone through what I went through, she may be standing over here looking at me at this time in my life. And so, all of that started to really come crystal clear how human all of us are. Not just us out here, we're doing this for the moment, but the people who live through this every day. And so I was kind of not necessarily shocked, but I was kind of shocked at the fact, because I always been told I was a smart kid. No, you're a genius. You're so smart. I think I credit my parents. They taught me to read before I went to school, and it was just like I just kind of coasted through the rest of school because I was just a little bit ahead. And so it kind of got to me. My head got a little, my head is big. I got a big head. Like when I graduated from high school, I was this tall, but I weigh like 140 pounds. I'm like 200 right now, so my head was really big. But like, figuratively, it was kind of big as well. People tell me I'm smart all the time. And so I was like, you know what? I didn't know anything about none of this. And I'm smart. I'm the guy that everybody says is smart, well-read, yada, yada. And so I started talking to my friends about it, and a lot of them didn't know much about it unless they were homeless at one point in time. Two things I discovered: a lot of people who haven't been homeless don't know nothing about it, and more people have been homeless than we think. It's almost like 1 in every 4 people I talk to have been homeless now. Come to find out, technically I've been homeless before. I spent almost a year, maybe a year and a half on somebody's couch. And if you sleep on somebody's couch, you're grown, and you're able to pay bills, then you're homeless. And I've done that. I did that prayer review, and that's like I did that. And so that's what homelessness became to me. And there's an opportunity there. I saw the need, the gap, this hole in our understanding of ourselves as a collective. And I kind of adopted this mentality. How you doing? I kind of adopted this mentality over time. The idea was, we all sitting here, huddling around the fire, and we're having this conversation. Even though I'm the only one talking, there's a two-way dialogue going. I feel your attention, and we talk, we communicate with each other. One of these embers falls off, and it sparks a fire back here. Now, if we're in this conversation, and you're the only person who sees the fire, and you don't say anything about it, in my heart, you're responsible for whatever happens with that fire. Because you could have done something to intervene, but you chose not to for whatever reason.
It's called Bailout. And excuse me singing, but it's not meant to be good. Okay. I'm locked up, won't let me out. They won't let me out. They won't let me out. It is now day 4. And I knew at this point someone would be missing me. See, I knew that they would come, embrace me with tears, and whisper that they missed me. And by week 2, I just knew that she had turned every block from my house to the outskirts of this city inside out. And every soul that would walk past her, she would grab and she would plead, "Where is my baby?" And I swear I heard her voice, "Mama's gonna find you." But fatigue began to eat at my mental sea. Hunger starved my soul of emotions, and my skin, it began to reek with self-pity. See, that day stuck in repeat. I keep seeing my brothers and sisters' faces. They ripped them apart from me. Ripped them apart from me, and you expect me to wake every morning caring about this shit called life, when all I want to know is who will care for me. See, your system designed to bail us out, when in reality, you've imprisoned all of my potentials and chose this fucked up life for me. See, I born into expectations to be productive in my being, produce usefulness into this useless system that clearly doesn't give a shit for me. My tear ducts are burning from the fire released down my face. I bleed self-hatred, resentment, uselessness into my esteem. I bleed self-hatred, cutting day in, day out into my skin, just hoping that someone, just anyone would feel me, because I have no reason to breathe, no reason to live, no reason to care, because like you didn't care, and all I want to know is who will care for me? Who will care for me? See, you too busy affording bailouts on broke down financial systems, recycling our dollars, and bailouts on auto companies just to keep the economy pumping. But what about the child slave? What about that young boy left to raise the other 8, and that innocent child forced to have her emotional walls penetrated day in and day out by the man that she must call uncle? And what about that teenager forced to utilize dumpsters at dinner tables and rainy days as opportunities to shower? Where are their bailouts? See, where is my bailout? All I want to know is who will care for me. I'm an offspring of an addict. Mama never came. See, I found out years later that she was in some crack alley bailing out her pain. Bailing out her years of abuse because by the age of 14, she was forced to bear a child that her own father produced. And all I want to know is where are our bailouts? And remember in the beginning, I told you that I could hear her voice. Well, it's because I did. As a matter of fact, I still do. She's calling me out to the alley now to bail out with her, bail out some of this pain. Bail out some of this pain, and now you're sitting here looking at us, judging. You heard me. We're bailing out, bailing ourselves into this grave. Bailing out into this grave.
You ready?
What's up? It's the last stop for the evening. Started off at TSU to Miles 45. From there, went over to Caroline Collective and Noah's Kitchen. The next stop was over at New Faith Church, and then Andrea's Hope, and now we're here with Kel Rose, celebrating and really embracing the fact that this is the first day of the first Houston Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week ever, and hopefully it'll be the first of many. Kel, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing today.
Oh, wow. A good partner of mine, Mr. Harold James with From the Bottom. Yes.
Which one is he?
Behind the camera.
Behind the camera. We decided to basically take it to another step, another level. And what we did was we got a good friend of mine who is one of the less fortunate ones that lived on the streets of Houston. He was originally from Houston, Texas, and he ended up going to the Army. And in between that time, he met a couple of people in his life that kind of messed over him and basically took him for all that he had. And when he returned back to Texas from Iraq, he had nothing left. He had been through basically 3 divorces and losses of thousands of dollars and family and just a major loss, a tragedy. And so he's such a very humble person. He recently was given the opportunity to move on the property of a storage where he found a couple of $100 of merchandise that was stolen. The lights were not, but that's all right. I'm gonna keep on talking because you can hear me. I'm sure you can hear me. So right after he found the merchandise that was stolen, he returned every last piece. Nothing was missing. So I looked at that, and he said, well, you know, they're gonna give me the opportunity to, you know, live on their property. And I said, well, are they gonna pay you for, you know, looking out for their stuff? And he was like, well, no, they're just gonna let me use their water and a plug outside. And I was like, wow, for someone to be grateful just for a plug and just for the usage of water that he does, that someone is just giving to him and can take it away at any minute, it touched me. And I'm just giving you a little bit about him. He also, He'll just say, hey, let me wash your car, and I'll just take whatever, a quarter, 50 cents, $1, whatever. And I just said, this is a very humble and honest man, and I had to do something. So what my good friend and I did, we took him today. We started off this morning, gave him some clothes, which was donated from the Bottom organization, Howard James, Gerald Slash, Rico, and Mr. Flo. They donated from the Bottom. Real nice, I mean, from the head to the toe, brother was clean. I mean, starched down, collar shirt, beautiful pins. I mean, alligator, was it alligator? Alligator what? Alligator, iguana something. I mean, he had the genuine, real deal going on, you guys, and it was a blessing because it was just donated and given to him. So anyways, we took him to a hotel, we got him checked in, And we then took him to DL's barbershop. And Jerome, a good friend of mine, a barber, he cut his hair, and they welcomed him so, I mean, they just embraced him. And y'all gonna see the footage. I mean, we're doing a documentary DVD on that, so y'all better watch out. So anyway, I'm just excited. We got him into the barbershop. We got him into the hotel room. We got him some food, and then throughout the day, we got him prepared because he didn't know that he was going to be going to one of my shows, along with Cecil Shaw in Conroe, Texas. So we took a long, good old trip down to Conroe, Texas, and down the country road. There was a club, Provision RX. They basically embraced him, you guys. It was such a moment because we were able to enhance the vision that Brother Noah had walked from Houston, Texas to Los Angeles, California for. I mean, we literally just, he had a good time. They had a Elvis impersonator there. They had the fireworks and everything going. The live band was kicking, and he was just amazed. And at the end of the day, after it was all said and done, someone offered him a place to stay. Someone offered him a place to stay, and not only that, one of the managers from Joe's Crab Shack offered him a job. So at the end of the day, we made a change. Hopefully we're gonna do it again next year. And is it going down next year again?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's what we did today. Long day, but we made it at the end. Let's go, Noah.
It's a long night. It's a long time coming. This whole journey started 1,800 miles ago before I did my journey. 3 years in, we have our first week of events in Houston. Our third Sleepout, which is now Sleepout Saturday, and next year it's gonna be bigger, it'll be better, and we're just gonna keep moving. Keep moving. As long as there's a need and a desire, we're gonna keep moving.